There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true, the other is to refuse to believe what is true. I found I had less and less to say, until finally, I became silent, and began to listen. I discovered in the silence, the voice of God. The most common form of despair is not being who you are. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. It is better to try something and fail than to try nothing and succeed. The result may be the same, but you won't be. We always grow more through defeats than victories. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought which they seldom use. If I could prescribe only one remedy for all the ills of the modern world, I would prescribe silence. Take a chance and you may lose. Take not a chance and you have lost already. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate and call it happiness. Geniuses are like thunderstorms, they go against the wind, terrify people, clear the air. Hope is passion for what is possible. The Bible is very easy to understand. But we Christians are a bunch of scheming swindlers. We pretend to be unable to understand it because we know very well that the minute we understand, we are obliged to act accordingly. Do it or don't do it, you will regret both. The minority is always stronger than the majority, because the minority is generally formed by those who really have an opinion. Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. Wherever there is a crowd, there is untruth. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. The unhappy person is never present to themselves because they always live in the past or the future. The question is not to be or not to be, it is what we should be until we are not. Who am I? How did I come into the world? Why was I not consulted? Are you not aware that there comes a midnight hour when everyone must unmask? The more people who believe something, the more apt it is to be wrong. The person who's right often has to stand alone. Most people are subjective toward themselves and objective toward all others, frightfully objective sometimes, but the task is precisely to be objective toward oneself and subjective toward all others. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. Once you label me, you negate me. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen, but, if one will, are to be lived. It is not the path which is the difficulty, rather, it is the difficulty which is the path. A man prayed, and at first he thought that prayer was talking. But he became more and more quiet until in the end he realized prayer is listening. It is not where we breathe, but where we love, that we live. For without risk there is no faith, and the greater the risk, the greater the faith. The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. To be a woman is something so strange, so confusing and so complicated that only a woman could put up with it. Most men pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that they hurry past it. People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me.